So easier regulatory framework as well as ease of doing business, those are the areas, single window clearance, everything the government has been talking about.
That's correct.
And things are in process, but I do understand that real estate sector is a little more cumbersome to deal with these kind of issues. But I also wanted to check with you that you did say that if the proper structuring is done, you would be looking at investments in REITs. What is your criteria for investment, and is a global private equity attached to a company and a project would really give you that comfort in terms of transparency and accountability as well?
The right way with the right management team and governance. So in those situations, we're very comfortable, and we know that they've been active here and could be one of the first private equity firms to bring a REIT public, and we'd be confident that they would do it right because they're not in it for the short term. And I think that's one of the most important points for all the participants is they shouldn't participate or they shouldn't pursue this as a deal or a trade. They should pursue it with a long-term view, pursue it as in terms of committing to building something great. And Blackstone knows that the way they can maximize their return on investment is to build something that investors want, that can be great. And in situations like that, we're happy to be involved. And you know, we're peers in a sense in that we're the leading investor publicly in real estate companies. They're one of the leading private investors. So we've had a good collaboration over the years.
Yes, and you're right, Blackstone could be one of the first when it comes to REITs listing in India. What is your investment strategy then? At IPO, you invest while the thing is going public, or post-listing you look at, so what is your investment strategy typically?
Well, if we don't invest privately and we don't invest pre-IPO, we want liquidity. Mm-hmm. We want to be able to change our minds or to harvest gains if a share price runs up beyond where we think it should trade. So sometimes we'll invest on the IPO if a company is, again, structured right and is priced right. Sometimes they don't get structured right. Sometimes they don't get priced right. In that case, we'll wait for the price to meet our needs. Mm-hmm. Or sometimes what we've seen is a company will come public with a balance sheet that has too much debt, yes. And 6 months later, 12 months later, we find that they need to raise more equity, and if that equity raise solves the problem, then we would get involved then.
Okay, so debt-laden companies could be, you're averse to that?
Very averse to that. We like companies to have some debt because with the types of businesses that I talked about, predictable contractual cash flows, the debt can enhance the returns on equity. That's good. But like everything in life, too much of something is usually bad. So we want to make sure that a company has enough financial flexibility to grow and to take advantage of opportunity. So
Joe, unfortunately the reality in India right now is that there are many high debt-laden companies, and most of the companies which have come public in the recent times, and I'm not talking about REITs and Invsts, but mostly IPOs, they have been not for growth capital but for paring right. down debt or giving an exit right. to a financial investor. But REITs could be difficult if there aren't many investors putting in money, if it's not for expansion. I do understand that, but what is your primarily the ticket size that you look at? Minimum, how much do you invest when you decide to that this particular asset is attractive?
Well, let me talk about it in these terms. You know, we'd like to see a company have at least a free float market capitalization of $500 million US dollars, and you know, it's not uncommon for us to own 5 or 10% of a company. So, in that situation, you know, under the right circumstances, we could invest 25 to 50 million, but with our capital base, we have the potential to, and we do, and in the U.S. REITs, in some cases, we have $1 billion U.S. invested in a single company.